Welcome to the Independent Thinking Podcast. I'm Kevin Bryant with Nationwide Prime Media. Today we're focusing on my favorite aspect of NMG as a company, our give back efforts. Back in 2018, Tom Hickman stood on stage at PrimeTime in Orlando and stated, "We will give back." Our relationship with No Child Hungry began by packing over 100,000 meals for hungry kids. But that was just the beginning. Since then, over 3 million meals have been packed by NMG and our members, but it doesn't stop there. Over the years, NMG teams have been hands-on in Haiti, New Orleans, Houston, Phoenix, Atlanta, and other locations to provide kids with items ranging from bikes to mattresses. In 2024, Nationwide Marketing Group formally established NMG Gives with a purpose to uplift and transform the lives of children in need around the globe through local activations. With this intentional focus, NMG Gives has chosen to continue its partnership with No Child Hungry and add 2 additional charities, Smile Together and Destination Hope. Smile Together supports children born with cleft and craniofacial conditions, and Destination Hope is dedicated to advancing research, treatment, and care of pediatric brain cancer in partnership with the Tisch Brain Tumor Center at Duke University in North Carolina. Both organizations seek to make treatments more accessible for kids and their families. I was fortunate enough to sit down with Destination Hope, No Child Hungry, and Smile Together at PrimeTime in San Antonio. Here's what they had to say. Welcome back to the Independent Thinking Podcast. We have Chrissy Wrede with us again to talk about Destination Hope. What is Destination Hope?
Destination Hope is a really important charity. It has a pretty far reach in advancing and transforming the standards of care for kids battling a brain tumor.
Correct me if I'm wrong, pediatric brain tumors is the number 1 killer in children, number 1 cancer killer in children.
It's the number 1, and it still continues to be the number 1 by a large margin, the largest cancer killer of children.
So is there a lot of funding that comes to them?
It's so underfunded. It is so underfunded. So we are partnering with Duke University, which leads the country in brain tumor research for adults, and is growing in its achievements for pediatric brain tumors, and we want their program to also be the best in the world.
That's excellent. So Destination Hope, what does it do? I know that they provide for research, but do they help kids get to Duke? Because I think I read a little bit about that.
Yeah, we've carved a portion of our funding out, our fundraising out, to cover travel and ancillary expenses for children to just get their care and hopefully be enrolled in a clinical trial for new cutting edge and innovative treatments so that they can have a chance at growing up with their family.
That's such a great cause. What are we doing here today at the show or at the NMG Gives booth?
Today we are making quilt squares that will be incorporated into a comfort blanket for the kids that are battling a brain tumor in the hospital. These kids are in the hospital for sometimes 7-8 months straight. They just need a cure, and the cure is funded by research, but they also want to know that we care, and this is something to give to them that can comfort them in their battle.
That is so great. How can we find out more about Destination Hope?
Go to destinationhope.org. All of our mission, our impact, our events, and our social media is all linked there.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Kevin Bryant here at PrimeTime in San Antonio with the Independent Thinking Podcast. I have Mr. Mike Whitaker with No Child Hungry with us. Mike, what's going on at the show?
Kevin, it is an amazing first day here at PrimeTime. The NMG Gives booth, the first ever NMG Gives booth.
Yes.
We are so honored to be partnering up with Nationwide, with Smile Together, with Destination Hope, No Child Hungry, all coming together to do some real good for kids in 3 totally different areas. And it's been so exciting with a lot of traffic from members, a lot of vendors stopping by. Great day so far.
So before we get into what's happening today at the show floor, tell us a little bit about last night. We honored a pretty special member, didn't we?
Yes, we did. And it was very special for us. So we're pleased to be a certifying organization for the Presidential Volunteer Service Awards, the highest civilian honor for volunteers bestowed by the President of the United States. And after their effort in the wake of Hurricane Helene and all the damage done in Western North Carolina, the Player family, Roddy Jr. and Kate, within weeks, despite losing a store of their own in the hurricane, said, we want to do something big for our community. They called us up 11 days later in Pineville, North Carolina. 500,000 No Child Hungry meals, 10,000 hygiene kits, 3,500 snack bags, and then going that extra step further, Roddy and his team put their logistical know-how, their fleet of trucks in place, and they took every bit of that to the distribution points around Western North Carolina. They did exactly what neighbors do, taking care of those in need, and it was just such a privilege to get to present them with that honor from the White House, from President Trump, in honor of all their efforts and all the volunteer effort that they gave there.
It was such an amazing night. I love that Roddy brought his whole team on stage because, Roddy said, this isn't my award or even the player family. This is Queen City Home Store's award. So it was very nice to see his team up there last night. So let's talk a little bit more about today. Who are we packing for today?
So today, as we go into a prime time, and it's happened several times before, Nationwide is always there for the communities that their members serve and for their members. So if you remember, sadly not that long ago, the wildfires in Maui, Nationwide stood behind the Hamai family at Hamai Appliance. We went there right after the wildfires with a big relief effort. The same thing has happened again. Unfortunately, tragedy struck again this year in California with the Southern California wildfires. So we're packing over 32,000 items. Nationwide has provided all the supplies, the members, the team, the vendor partners supplying the manpower to turn those into care kits. They will leave San Antonio. They'll leave here tomorrow, headed straight for our distribution partners in LA that we're already working with. Those care kits will be in the hands of those kids and those families in the next 48 hours.
That is incredible. So you just said Roddy packed over 500,000 meals. Mm-hmm. What does that put Nationwide's total at? Because I know we just crossed 2 million, it seems maybe a year and a half ago. Where does that put Nationwide members now?
So 3 prime times ago, Nationwide as a network in their partnership with us at No Child Hungry crossed that 2 million meal platform. Greg Law sealed the bag on meal number 2 million.
Yes.
And towards the end of the day in Pineville, back in October, Roddy sealed the bag on the 3 millionth meal since this partnership began.
Cannot believe that. I remember Tom on stage back in 2018. We were so happy we hit 100,000, That was a big deal. And now here we are, 3 million meals later.
Well, and here's the thing, Kevin. So the 3 million meals is amazing. But there's another side of that resonates, and that's that those 3 million meals are gone. Those 3 million meals have already gone to kids in need. They've been eaten and they're gone, and we still have kids hungry today. And that's what makes this relationship so special. With Nationwide, with members all around the country, we've had the privilege of doing events in communities and stores in these members' hometowns. It continues in an effort to fight childhood hunger. And it's great to have allies like Nationwide, like these great members. We'll be going to Paul Sherman's stores, to Peoria, Illinois, and Sherman's just next weekend to continue packing meals. And it's been so special to see how this has become a part of their organizations, part of their cultures as well.
The independent channel has the biggest heart, in my opinion. It's grassroots, it's hyper local. It's great what you do. I'm so happy to see you here at the show. I got to spend some time with William, your president, too. Thank you so much for coming, and thanks for spending some time with us today on this podcast.
Absolutely, Kevin. We appreciate the opportunity to be here. Appreciate the opportunity to get down and share a little bit more with your audience here on the Independent Thinking Podcast. And if they're looking for a way to get involved, we invite them to come on over to nochildhungry.net and let us know you heard about us through Nationwide. It continues that just big network effort to make a difference.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone. Hey there, Kevin Bryant. Welcome to the Independent Thinking Podcast here at PrimeTime 2025 here in San Antonio, Texas. I have Miss Chrissy Wrede with me with Smiles Together. Chrissy's over at the NMG Gives booth. It's the first year we've put all our charitable efforts into one booth. Chrissy, tell us a little bit about Smile Together and what we're doing here today.
So Smile Together is a charity that we created 6 years ago to benefit and support the education, research, and patient care for cleft and craniofacial conditions.
Excellent. So what kind of things do you provide for these children?
A lot of our fundraising is geared towards advancing the research and innovative care for cleft conditions. The first year of these kids' lives is really tough. They can't drink from a bottle. They have to use special feeders. They can't nurse. They have 2 surgeries most times before they're even 1 year old. So we really try to support the innovative treatments to make their lives and their families' lives as easy as possible.
Great. So how are members helping here at this show in particular? What are we doing over at the NMG Gives?
Today we are packing welcome kits for the new babies and their families that are diagnosed with a cleft condition. The kits, they have all kinds of stuff. A lot of supplies that really are helpful as a parent of a cleft child, and things that I wanted when I had a baby going through the care are in the kits, but also some fun stuff and some promotional stuff that they can just use and play with at home.
That's excellent. Well, it's great to meet you. I'm so happy that Smile Together is finally here on the show floor. I know we've been supporting this organization for years. It's nice to finally see it here at the show. For more information on Smile Together, go to smiletogether.gives, and you can follow them on all their social media. That's all we have for today. Thanks for joining us on the Independent Thinking Podcast.